Hello, everyone. I have not been on here in a minute on YouTube, on Facebook, but I had to get on here because I just was spoofed. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, we have to all now be alert about how these hackers are doing all these different kind of crazy things. So I was just minding my business. And I had a missed call. First of all, I couldn't find my phone. I didn't know where my cell phone was sitting. So when I finally located my phone within my home, I saw a missed call from Andrew's Federal Credit Union. So I was like, why are they calling me? So I called them back. And while I was on hold, I got I saw on my other line beeping in Andrew's Federal Credit Union again. So I'm like, this must be very important because really they didn't leave me a voice message. So I said, okay, let me just, since I'm on hold, I'll just go on over to the other, um, I'll just go on over to the other line. So I clicked on over, and it was a person with an accent. So I wasn't too thrown off because, we know that a lot of companies now are, farming out their customer service. So I was like, So this person started stating, hey, um, is your card with you? Yes, it is. Well, this is the fraud department, and it appears that someone tried to use your debit card buying something from Amazon for 500 and something dollars. And I was like, what? I said, well, no. And I said, well, I did just buy something from Amazon. Let me go in here and see. I don't recall using that card, but I definitely know it wasn't for that amount. So what did I do? I went to my Amazon account and I was like, no, my last order, I did not use that debit card. So, no. He said, do you know anybody from Alabama? No, I don't have, I am in Maryland. So they was like, okay. So then after he said they tried to use it to purchase something on Amazon. Now, I not really thinking at that moment, but I get alerts. I signed up so that I get alerts when there's a certain amount being charged, when my balance is low. So I get all these alerts, and I'm like, I don't recall receiving any alerts of someone trying to, purchase something for that amount on my debit card. So then he says, well, they called into Andrews and they tried to act like they were you and they said your name, but then when we asked them to confirm some of your profile information, they hung up the phone. I said, wait a minute. And he said, that was for $1,000. I said, wait a minute. First, you just told me that it was an Amazon purchase that was the fraud. Now for 500 some dollars. Now you're saying $1,000 and they called in, but then when you asked for a certain information, they hung up because they could not provide that information. Well, yeah. So then, but before he said the second way the quote unquote fraud was supposed to happen, he asked me for my debit card information. I said, well, you know that number. You call it. You called me. And so then he said, "Oh, that's yeah. We only need the last eight numbers." So I'm thinking, okay, um, there's uh, 16 numbers, and the last eight. So, I can verify that. So I did. And then when he asked me to turn the card over and give the three digits to confirm the card, I said, "Why do you need that?" And he said, "Well, we're going to actually cancel your card." And I said, okay, well, I can do that myself. I said, let me go in here and cancel the card myself. I said, because that just don't sound right what you're saying. And, he was like, well, yeah, it was the person called in and they were trying to debit 1,000 some dollars and they said your name and act like they were you and they couldn't verify some information. So they hung up. I said, wait a minute. First you told me it was an Amazon purchase for 500. Now you tell me 1,000. Now you're asking for the last three, for the three code, the three number code on the back of my card. I said, well, guess what? I'm going to cancel my card myself. And then he was like, oh, you don't want me to cancel your card? No, I don't want you to cancel my card. I just canceled my card. And when I said I just canceled my card, he hung up. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I went into the chat function online with Andrews, and I'm telling the lady what just happened. And I said the thing is that Andrews' number, the actual real number that you call for customer service, actually came up. And she said, well, that was spoofing, where they can take a number and actually act like they are the actual company, bank, or whatever. And that's spoofing. And I've learned about that, in some of our trainings on my job. But when I saw the missed call, I was calling Andrews back on that number. And then when they popped up again and it still said Andrews with that number, that's when I clicked over and started talking to the person with the accent. So I'm telling the chat what happened, and she said, yeah, that's spoofing. And I said, well, I did cancel the card. And she said, okay, great. I have already ordered you a new card, and it's going to be sent to. She verified the address. She verified the address and said, is this it? Yes. And so I just wanted you all to be aware of spoofing, because now they can act like they are your bank or any company, and it's going to come up as if they are legit, because it will actually be the actual number, but they are spoofing it. And I just got suspicious with the accent and just some of the things they were asking me to verify, that they should already have that information. So just be careful out here in these streets, honeys, because like I said, spoofing is real. These people, they gonna try every which way but loose to get your information, to scam you, to hack you, to get to your moolah, and unfortunately, they was going to be quite disappointed if they would have really got into the account. But, that's for another day. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here because, like I said, I have not actually went live. I have not done any online anything. Well, of course, I'm, posting and stuff, but no actual live, or I'm posting a long video on Facebook or on YouTube. So I just wanted to get on here after that experience. And I have so many more things that I'm going to talk about. And eventually I'm going to come back a little stronger. Everything, it's been so many things going on, a move, a purchase. It's just been a lot going on. So I will be settled real soon. And because I'm going to try to do this social media blackout from August 1st to August the 7th, I'm definitely not going to be on during that time. But I will be, working things out, doing things, building things, getting things in order. So when I do come back, I will be more consistent. And remember, that was something that I had talked about that I've been working on, is consistency. And it has paid off in some areas, but I still have to get it down pat for this situation, as far as streaming, as far as posting videos, and actually doing this YouTube, Facebook thing, So I just pray that you all be aware of this spoofing. Make sure that when a bank or a company calls you, like the lady suggested in the chat, she said, make sure that you say, okay, I'm going to call the actual bank. So that means you hang up and you call or go into a chat with the actual bank or company, because it's getting real out here. Okay. So you all be blessed and have a wonderful day. And please don't get spoofed.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.